Welcome to the 2009 Candidates Forum for Alton. The election is April 7th. Looks like we have a great turnout. We have a fairly long program tonight, we'll get started. My name is Steve Schwartz. I'm with East End Improvement Association. We sponsor this. I guess we've been sponsoring this going back to, I want to say the 1960s, plus or minus. We have some other co-sponsors that I'd like to mention tonight. First of all, the North Alton Godfrey Business Council, WBGZ radio station 1570. They will be broadcasting this on a tape, so it hopefully will air before the election. It will air before the election. The Alton Telegraph and RiverBender.com, who's broadcasting live tonight. Thank you all for those sponsors. It's been a really interesting year in politics. We've got, of course, a new president. We've got a new governor, and we will have a new mayor this year, along with some new aldermen. Is Mayor Sandich here? I don't see him. I'd like to take time out right now. We have two aldermen that have actually had 24, 26 years of service through the city of Alton. They are both East End members, and they go way, way back. I think they have been with city civil service even before they were aldermen. First of all, I'd like to recognize Phil Hanrahan. He's the 2nd Ward Alderman. He's going to retire. He's going to retire in May, and so thank you very much. Also, Joe Maher, the 3rd Ward Alderman. And he is the retiring also in May. So thank you very much, both of you. I'd like to kind of go over the format for tonight. First of all, candidates running unopposed will be introduced, but they really do not need to make any presentation. The township and alderman candidates will be given 3 minutes each to talk about their candidacy. Although no questions will be asked directly to them while they are here on the podium, we ask that all candidates remain after the forum so that they can answer any questions from the constituents. The order of the candidates was determined by a blind draw. The mayoral candidates will be given 5 minutes to talk about their candidacy, and the first to be allowed and is to be followed by a question and answer period. Those questions will be asked on a rotation basis, and we ask that the candidates limit their answers to 2 minutes and their speeches to 5 minutes each. We have a high-tech light bulb paraphernalia up here, and so they will have, when the green light is on, that's when they can start. The yellow light means they have 30 seconds left, and the red light means that their time limit is up, and we ask that you please stick to that schedule. Okay, first of all, I would like to introduce the unopposed candidates. So if they would please stand up and wave, and then we'll get together and then we'll get going. First of all, the Alton Township Assessor, Mary Bowles. See, I already had it wrong. Let's try this one. The Alton City Treasurer, Cindy Roth. 6th Ward Alderman, Gary Fleming. The 7th Ward Alderman, David Bowles. And the City Clerk, I'll say Mary Bowles again. Okay. First of all, if we could have the First Ward Alderman come on up, and we'll start with them. Tom Quigley and Jim Ryan, while they're coming up, we have handed out cards to everybody, and these are the cards that you ask your questions on. And in the back here, I've got Joe Hanahan, John Keller, Joe Hornsey, Rick Soboleski. Hold the cards up. And we'll fill out the cards, and we'll come by after the third ward to pick them up. Okay, first to speak is Tom Quigley.
Good evening, everybody. Glad you all come out here. This is our third forum, so it's kind of, I'm still nervous. You know, I've been running now for 20 years. My fourth election, and within 5 electoral times. It either makes me persistent or crazy. I ain't sure which one yet. I've been married to be 30 years in October. Wife Linda. We lived in Alton 29 years of it. We moved up to Brighton one year when we first got married, tried to get away from the family. That didn't work out. We was always there anyway. So we moved back, and we moved over in our neighborhood where I grew up at, over on Danforth. I live on Logan now, just 4 streets over, my stomping grounds. Been living there 17 years now. Have 2 children, Andy and Holly. Andy's 24, Holly's 21. 2 cats. I gotta mention those. I am a volunteer facilities manager for St. Mary's. I've done that for 2.5 years. I've been volunteering down there for 15 years in different capacities. I've also been on the Alton Neighborhood Watch Board for 10 years. I've been off of it now for about 5. It's kind of, the board itself was let go, diminished, and that. And when Wheat and Seed took over, the Alton Neighborhood Watch went down. So just when one government program starts, the other one always ends. Just common. I held positions on the St. Mary's School Board for 7 years. I've been employed at Hartford Wood River Terminal now for 23 years as a terminal operator. It's taken its toll. It's shift work. And they gave me a couple new knees and a couple knee surgeries, climbing tanks. And now to my issues and concerns. I want to bring accountability to the city budget, make sound, stable investments, and spending decisions. I think it's time that the city use their employees to the best of their ability. What I would like to see, I know it's as far-fetched, and I keep saying I like to think outside the box. Put Park and Rec and Public Works under one umbrella. Call it Alton Utilities, call it whatever you want to. I believe the mayor, whoever the next mayor is going to be, should be a hands-on mayor, be out there in the field all the time. It just, to me, we shouldn't be hiring so many more outside companies to do the city work. We got capable people here. And, I just got flashed with the yellow light, so wrap it up here. I want to again thank you all for coming out, and I'll stick around if anybody got any questions. Please ask for your vote on April 7th. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. Next speaker is Jim Ryan.
Good evening. I'm Jim Ryan. I've been on the Alton City Council for 6 years, which I suppose makes me one of the good old boys. The last 6 years have been an exciting time for me personally and for the city of Alton. You'll probably be hearing some negative things tonight about the state of the city, but I'd like to point out some of the positive things that are happening. We have a new park and amphitheater at the riverfront, which will be an asset to the citizens of Alton and will bring out-of-towners to small venue concerts. We have seen the construction of lofts in the downtown area, which have brought new people into our community and have made good use of abandoned spaces. There is interest in a number of sites for use as a hotel and conference center. This year, we will complete Phase 1 of the renovation of Olin Park on State Street. Our marina is thriving, thanks to new and imaginative management put in place by the city. The city has purchased property downtown, which will make redevelopment a reality. Because there are many activities going on behind the scenes, Some people have the impression that the city sits back and waits to be approached in terms of development. Nothing could be further from the truth. Our Department of Development and Housing is working every day to eliminate unsightly and problematic structures and to attract new businesses to the city, both large and small. Our police department is working every day to eliminate crime and drugs from once vibrant neighborhoods. Their sponsorship of the Weed and Seed strategy has given the people a voice in making their neighborhoods safe again. Our building and zoning department is working every day to enforce code violations and making the city a safer and more attractive place to live. These activities and many others are going on every day, yet all we seem to hear are the negatives. We have room for improvement, to be sure. The city is faced with a perfect storm of greater financial obligations and less revenue in an already dismal economy. We must learn to live within our means, and I'm convinced that we can do that. The new mayor and council will be faced with some complex issues and will need to hit the ground running. Do we want to trust the future of the city of Alton to people whose ideas seem to be the reinvention of the wheel, or to those who have the experience and understand the city's problems and also its great potential? It's up to the voters to decide whether they want to gamble on unknown entities or to trust the city to the people who are aware of the issues and have realistic ideas on how to solve them. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. I guess I'll step back a little bit and I'll mention Julie Campbell, which I eventually I'll get you. Could the second ward alderman please come up to the podium, the candidates for the second ward, and the order that they'll speak is Tim Smith, Mick McMahill, and John Sumner.
When does the time start?
You got 3 minutes, and the light will be 30 seconds. It's orange light going.
All right. Well, first of all, I'd just like to say my name is Tim Smith. I'm running for second ward alderman here in Alton. And the first thing I'd like to point out real quick is that we also need to say thanks to Mayor Sandage, Don Sandage, for 12 years of service to the city. He's retiring this year. Also, Joe Mayer, he's retiring now too. He's served on the city council for many years. We're going to need another slim around here. Phil Hanrahan, over 20 years of service on the city council and leaving some big shoes for us to fill. So I appreciate him. The thing that really inspired me to try to run for this office is, well, let me step back really quick here. Some of my opponents were inspired in different ways, and let me just point out one particular thing that Mr. Sumter said on the first forum whenever we were doing our first discussion. He said that the reason I'm inspired to run, and I quote, is a few of my fellow firemen were laid off. He said, that's why I'm running. I thought to myself, that's not a great idea to run for, a good reason to really run as a candidate for the city council. I don't think that would be a very effective council member as well. So, and there's Mick McMahill. He's my other opponent. Known him a long time. Supported a couple of his campaigns. Ran county board a couple different times under Democrat and Republican ticket. Ran for mayor as a resident of the first ward. Now the resident of the second ward is running for second ward alderman. I just feel like those reasons right there are pretty obvious how my opponents will not be effective as a city council member. The thing that inspired me to run for city council is the birth of my daughter, and many of you are parents out there, and you understand my determination and why I would like to see Alton succeed. You know, I have great experience. I have a proven track record working with other mayors from Easton, Pennsylvania and Amsterdam, New York. I've served on an executive staff managing over a $15 million budget, so I feel like I possess some of the skills that are going to be necessary to serve on the council. In closing, I just want to say something, or repeat something to you that somebody said to me, and they said, "You're a good man, Charlie Brown." That man was Tom Hakes. And if you give me the opportunity to serve as a second ward alderman, I will definitely work hard to prove to you that I'm worthy of your vote on April 7th. And I ask you, consider me as a candidate on April 7th and let me prove to you how hard I can work. Thank you.
Next speaker is Mick Mayoral.
Good evening. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Mick Mayoral, and I'm a candidate for second ward alderman. But some of you may know me just as Mick, the guy who didn't put his last name on his signs. I'd first like to thank the East End, WBGZ, the Alton Telegraph, and RiverBender.com for hosting this event. But more importantly, I'd like to thank all of you for your attendance. History has shown that governments with active citizen participation are always more successful, and I appreciate your coming out and making the most informed choice you can on April 7th. A little bit about myself. I was born and raised here in Alton. I'm not really sure why that's significant, but we feel compelled to say it. I'm an Army veteran. I'm an SIUE graduate with a bachelor's degree, and I'm currently employed by the Madison County Probation Department as a juvenile detention officer. I was raised being taught that you could take on City Hall if you did it for the right reasons. And I bought into that for a long time, but over the last several years I've realized that sometimes taking things on isn't the best way to solve a problem, and that if you work with people and you listen, you can be much more effective in getting things done. If I'm elected, my main focus will be to listen to people and come up with proactive and pragmatic solutions to the city's problems. Another major priority, and this is not by choice, will be to address the city's financial and budget problems. I'm going to work to actively encourage small business and increase Alton's appeal as a historic community, and really, emphasize our core natural and historic attributes. The things that qualify me most are my experience and my vision. I worked for the House of Representatives here in Illinois for 4 years, and I have a good understanding of all levels of government. And I currently work with the Probation Department, and I understand, the crime that's plaguing our community. I would address Alton's financial and budget problems by reducing our dependency on gaming revenue, and through an attritional workforce reduction and maintaining a hiring freeze. I would also try and identify and eliminating interdepartmental redundancies, and try and establish equipment sharing policies when available. If cuts need to be made, I would look first to outside contracts, and then I would also look at work being done by city workers that could be done by outside contractors. I would work to address the city's financial problems by helping to establish an aggressive energy policy and establishing long-term goals and short-term goals, things like wind power. But in closing, I would like to just say that under no circumstances would I like to see the Alvey Street Quarry expanded, nor would I like to see it become a garbage dump. And I will always keep the residents of the second ward in mind when making decisions regarding the quarry. Thank you very much.
Next speaker is John Sumner.
No win. My name is John Sumter. I was born in Alton, raised in Alton, in the second ward. I've lived there all my life. I went to grade schools, second ward. Except for sixth grade, they bused us to Garfield. I went to West Junior. I graduated with honors from Alton High School as a member of the National Honor Society. And I was a member of the first graduating class of Lewis and Clark College. I first started working in sixth grade as a paper boy, so I learned early in life how to deal with the public, collecting money from people that were sure they paid me already. Dogs, they didn't have leash laws back then. And other unruly customers that wanted their paper put in a certain space. right proper place under a brick or whatever. I've been married 36 years to my wife Jackie. We have 2 grown children, a son, a daughter, and 4 granddaughters. I always say I was married on a Saturday and start working on Monday, and I worked ever since until just this past September. I retired after 30 years on the fire department. I worked a lot of different jobs part-time, and I can truly say that Alton Fire Department was the best job I ever had. I served proudly and honorably and with humility. As far as qualifications for a job as alderman, I don't know what the actual qualifications are. I'll just list some of my, what I consider qualities. First of all, I'm dependable. In 30 years on the fire department, I took 2 sick days. One was for a funeral of a close friend, and the other was to be with a newborn granddaughter in Cincinnati. I feel like I'm honest, conscientious, respectful, and committed. You have to be committed to a job where you're performing under stressful conditions requiring crucial decisions in crisis situations, and all the while keeping a cool demeanor while maintaining respect and compassion for people with their lives and property at stake. If elected alderman, I will strive to bring the same commitment in cooperation with the administration, city employees, and citizens in trying to solve our city's problems. It will take commitment and cooperation on everybody's part to achieve this. In closing, I want to say I am a firefighter first, but I'm also a citizen of Alton. And as a citizen of Alton, I'm concerned, and that's how I'm running as an alderman. And I would just truly appreciate a chance to serve. In closing, I just want to say I live in Alton by choice. I'm retired. I can move anywhere I want, but I want to live in Alton. I want Alton to prosper and grow, but to also maintain its great heritage. Although there are many pressing concerns expressed by our citizens, I think our main objective is bringing jobs to the city, because with jobs will come employment, home ownership, which in turn will bring respect for property and neighborhoods and pride of citizenship. Thank you, and I appreciate your vote on April 7th.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, if we could have the 3rd Ward come on up, please. Michael Veloff and Daryl McGibney. And Michael, you have honors.
Good evening. My name is Michael Veloff. I was born here to Jim and Rita Veloff in 1971. Attended St. Matthew's Grade School for K through 8, and then graduated with valedictorian in 1989 from Alton High School. Served in the United States Air Force, upon which I entered into Southern Illinois University at Carbondale, graduating in '93 with a Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering. I moved to the city of Kansas City, Missouri, took the first job there and worked full-time while attending school at the University of Kansas, receiving my Master's of Civil Engineering in 2000. Moved back to the area, accepted a job here to be closer to my family. I have 15 years experience in civil engineering design and construction observation. I'm a licensed professional engineer in 9 states, including Illinois. My experience includes land development. I design public improvements, institutions, and commercial development. I design projects on time and within budget. I prepare proposals in an engineering design budget. I prepare the design and manage my team to meet the budget and my client's construction budget. I sit on the other side of the table to present projects to City Council, and I'm quite familiar with city ordinances as I must meet these requirements for my projects. It's quite obvious my opponent, along with other candidates or their campaign staff, are not familiar with the Alton sign ordinance, as I've noticed signs on city property and state public property. And this may sound trivial to you. I'm not making an issue out of nothing here. My point is, whoever you elect, you'd want them to lead by example. Alton does not have a licensed civil engineer on staff, at least not one that I'm aware of. What an asset it would be to have an engineer on the council, someone with the ability to read plans, have a knowledgeable with current standards, and the ability to solve problems. Someone who is knowledgeable of stormwater runoff understands flooding, understands development, someone who works with developers, contractors, architects. If I'm elected alderman, I would reach out to my work contacts and bring in jobs to our area. Every job, every project that I've designed has brought jobs, construction jobs, fabrication jobs, transport jobs. As far as our ward, Ward 3, I do not support a landfill, a garbage dump. That's enough said. Maintaining neighborhoods should continue with city efforts to repair streets, enforcing current ordinances, and if needed, updating ordinances and landlords to maintain their properties. If you're tired of the same old town politics, vote Vel off April 7th. Let's put a new face in Alton.
Next speaker is Daryl McGivney.
Good evening. My name is Daryl McGivney, and I'm a candidate for 3rd Ward Alderman here in Alton, where I've spent most of my life, the last 32 years in the 3rd Ward. Up until a year ago, I was with the probation department in Madison County, where I spent 34 years. During that time, I had a number of positions, the last 12 as Director of Court Services. During those many years, I gained valuable experience in budgeting, personnel, planning, organizational development, community organization, and program development. Skills that I think are extremely important in a variety of ways for an alderman to do his best for the citizens here in Alton. I've also had a number of experiences at the state and national level where I've also honed these particular skills. While I've done this, I've kept my enthusiasm and my energy for the city as well. I've participated in the development of the weed and seed strategy, which has become extremely important to our community. Our department in probation was extremely involved with the PAC-UP program, which has been a highly successful program here in the city and a model for around the state. Those are two of the goals that I would like to see here in the city, an expanded PAC-UP program, an expanded weed and seed strategy. I know there has been some movement in the Milton area, and I'd like to see that continued. Other goals that I would very much like to see, based on my experience, is working with law enforcement to deal with drugs and the scourge of drugs and crime and violence in our town. If we have a perception here in Alton, unfortunately, is it a town that is not as clean as it should be and that it is out of control when it comes to drugs and violence. And with my background, that is something we'll have to deal with. And I would commit to you after 34 years that I know a little bit about that. And I would want to emphasize that as well. So clean up, weed and seed, law enforcement, job development and job creation, certainly those are important. Those are things that any administration is going to have to work on. We're one city in America. Every city is dealing with that particular issue. We're going to have to work really hard to do that with the downtown development, the riverfront development. I'm also opposed to the quarry, and I'm also very much in favor of maintaining Haskell House as a viable and very vital community facility in the Middletown area. I think it's a historically wonderful building, and we need to continue to keep that building in operation. And finally, I would really want to thank all of you for coming out. It's great to see so many of you here on a very bad night. So thanks for coming and listening to me. Thank you.
Okay, if we could have the 4th Ward come on up. It's time for the cards also. So as a few Eastenders walk down the aisle, if you could pass your cards to the aisle and they'll pick it up. And two of you here? I'm sorry? Where is Robert? I'm sorry? Oh, he's not. Okay. I thought he was. Okay. The first speaker will be Alice Martin.
Good evening. My name is Alice Martin, and I have resided in the 4th Ward for some 34 years. I'm married to my husband, Douglas, and we've been married for 45 years. I'm retired from the Department of Human Services, the Department of Mental Health, and I worked at Alton Mental Health for 25 years. Therefore, I can be a full-time alderman. My views on crime prevention is I would like to see the residents of the 4th Ward be really involved in the problem-solving meetings, which is monitored and conducted by the Alton Police Department, and these meetings are held monthly. I would also like to see organizing of neighborhood watches, and we really need to utilize the anonymous telephone tip to the police department. Priorities, if I'm re-elected, is the completion of Johnson Street, clean up Joe Steen, and finalize the Finney Street Neighborhood Watch. My goal, if re-elected, is to be the voice of the 4th Ward at City Hall, be visible to all the residents in the 4th Ward, and to promptly respond to all complaints. I would like to thank you all for coming, and please consider me on April 2nd.
Next speaker is Floyd Ragland.
My name is Floyd Ragland. My wife, Marcia. I have 4 sons and a daughter. I started school at Fosterburg. I went to a one-room grade school. Then I went to North Junior. Attended Alton High School, and I was an athlete at Alton High, and I got an athletic scholarship. I attended Central Missouri State in Warrensburg. I left Warrensburg when I came out of school. I went to work for Olin Corporation. I was a supervisor for 15 years. I was an equipment engineer for 5. And I left there and I went to Shell Oil Refinery. I worked at Shell through a pipe fitters apprenticeship program for 4 years. Then I ended up being an environment operator, clean up the air and water. And also was a volunteer fireman for 20 years, a paramedic for 20 years. And presently now I'm a probation officer that covers 22 counties. And thanks to Darryl McGibney, he's the one who run me all over the state. But my goal as an alderman is to change the culture of the 4th Ward. The 4th Ward is the heart of Alton. Every middle school kid from East I don't know where I got that from Godfrey and Alton attends coming to the 4th Ward to attend school. And we have 2 of the hospitals in our area ward, golf courses and park. It's a good area, but problem, we have a lot of police calls. And the only way to clear it up is change the culture of the people in our ward. And that's my biggest thing now, is to change the culture in ways that's like neighborhood watch, National Night Out. I was a National Night Out coordinator for Alton for about 9 years. I was McGruff for 9 years, and I've been a block captain for 20 years. And get to know the people and quit doing things to draw strangers to come in our ward and cause them problems. And so as an alderman, I'll be there for all your questions and answer phone calls. And there's nothing we can't solve. And if I can't do it, we have our police department, we have our George Carter Group, building and housing. And but presently I'm a board of Challenge Unlimited, which is one of the largest employer in the area. I've been the president of their board for about 10 years, and now I'm just a regular board member. But as alderman, again, asking for your vote. I'm running as a write-in vote, so if I become the alderman, I'll be an active person and get involved in the whole community. And I hope, one of the goals is to have a field house built at Alton for kids, park, and recreation. I run a basketball program in Slough Park up there for 18 years, and red lights on. Thank you.
Thank you. If we could have the 5th Ward come up now. Jeremy Mills and Charles Brake. Jeremy, you're first.
I thank you all for coming here tonight. My name is Jeremy Mills, and I'm running for 5th Ward Alderman. Give you a little background. I grew up in a military family. My father was a career Navy man. I spent a lot of my younger years moving around to his different duty stations. Graduated from Vicksburg High School in Vicksburg, Mississippi. I have a Bachelor of Arts degree in International Studies from the Croft Institute of International Studies at the University of Mississippi. And currently, I'm an international marketing rep for Winchester Ammunition. As an alderman, I will be an advocate of fiscal responsibility. I believe that until we have accounted for every taxpayer dollar and ensured that it's being maximized, that any increase in city revenues only leaves us more money to be mismanaged. I do not believe that cutting city employees or raising taxes and fees to the answer to our budget problems. At a time when so many houses are empty, our services are what will bring people to the city of Alton and encourage them to buy houses. I will work tirelessly with fellow city council members and the new mayor, along with such groups as the Riverbend Growth Association, Alton Marketplace, and Downtown Alton Inc. to bring businesses to the area. I believe that small businesses and fostering the growth of existing small businesses will be the growth engine for jobs and the increase in the quality of life in Alton. I want to see stricter traffic enforcement in the 5th Ward. Washington, Maine, College, people don't even stop anymore. Everybody speeds through our neighborhoods. It's a risk to our residents, to our children, and to those who are just passing through. I believe increased patrols will help fight this, but also fight the problem we've seen with home invasions and car invasions. But I also believe to fight crime, we need to get people to buy our derelict and foreclose upon properties using federal programs like the Neighborhood Stabilization Program and rehab them into viable housing, whether rental or one-family homes. As an alderman, I will restore the dialogue in our community that has been absent for too long. I will always answer my phone. I will establish a blog to let you know what I'm doing and establish a forum so you can let me know what you're doing and what needs to be done in your neighborhoods. I will also look to establish a monthly forum for all of us to get together and speak. Communication is key. I want to be an example to people my age that despite how busy we may think we are or how little bit of spare time we have, that now is the time for us to get involved. City government, education, community organizations need us. We may be young, but we have valuable ideas and we have knowledge to offer. I thank you for your time tonight and ask for your vote on April 7th.
Next to speak is Charles Brake.
Good evening. Thank you for coming. Thank the sponsors for sponsoring this gathering. It's good for the community to see so many people that come out and really care. I'm a candidate for re-election for alderman in the 5th Ward, which is basically centered around the Upper Alton business area. I've served as your alderman for the past 12 years and would like to serve you for another term. My experience on the city council and the close working relationships with various department heads helps me to bring quicker solutions to your requests and your problems. Very difficult economic times and problems that our city, state, and nation are experiencing will bring new budget challenges to the Alton that must be addressed. I will support and work with the new administration in restructuring our city operations and reducing our budget expenses to help meet our obligations. I support more efforts and promotion to promote public and police department collaboration in reporting crimes and locations of criminal activity. I will continue to work toward improvement and expansion of our city through projects now in progress, financed with grants and tax increment financing funds that will attract new businesses and tourists and added customers for our existing stores and our shops. And by the way, in that particular area, the riverfront expansion that you all see going on has something in excess of $2.5 million in federal and state grants that's helping to pay for that expansion we've got down there. The Streetscape Improvement Program project in the Upper Alton Business District that we worked hard to get was financed with grants and tax increment financing funds, and that improvement of the area is continued effort. We can draw more businesses and customers to the Upper Alton area. The Hunterstown and Mexico area housing construction and improvement programs will continue to improve our housing base, and bring new residents to buy new homes that will expand our tax base to provide additional operating money without raising our tax rate on the individual citizens in the city. Careful planning, prudent budget management can help accomplish the goals we have set. We will continue to apply for federal and state grants to assist in the cost of services, improvement, and expansion of the infrastructure. 12 years ago, when I first ran for alderman, I set up a dual voicemail phone system that you may call anytime, any day, to talk to me or leave a message. That phone number is 462-7253, and if that's hard to remember, just remember 46-BREAK. That'll get you there. My email address is break@alton-il.com. I will continue to be your full-time alderman, and I will continue to serve the 5th Ward and the city of Alton with honesty, integrity, credibility, and hard work that I've shown for the past 12 years. I ask for your support and your vote on April the 7th. Please come out and vote. Help build a better Alton. Thank you.
With the 6th and 7th wards running unopposed, that completes the aldermanic candidates. So now we'll go to the township supervisor, Fred Young and Don Huber. And Fred, you'll first speak.
Good evening. I'd like to thank the sponsors of tonight's program. My name is Fred Young, and if I'm elected Alton Township Supervisor, you have my commitment that I will represent Alton with pride, dignity, and humility. My goal is to improve efficiency, decrease administrative costs, and prioritize community general assistance programs. On Monday, March 16, 2009, during the Alton Area Landmark Candidates Forum, I believe Mr. Huber made the statement that his office and staff have recovered either $8,000 or $800,000 during the past several years. I'm glad to hear that accomplishment. Section 13.13 of the Township Supervisor of Illinois General Assistance Handbook states, and I quote, "All monies received by way of repayment shall be placed in the General Assistance Fund of the General Assistance Office," end of quote. Each year, the budget seems to have maintained a normal financial curve. My review of Township Supervisor audits for the past 5 years, excluding Township Assessor total costs and contractual service, such as building insurance and repairs, electrical utility costs, etc., reflects $346,071 dispersed for community general assistance as opposed to $1,016,693 in administrative costs for the township supervisor office. Many of you know on numerous occasions I have appealed to the township supervisor on behalf of several senior widows who had dead trees extending over the roofs of their homes and in their yards. Some needed driveway repairs such as rock and asphalt. Others needed garage doors repaired and or replaced. In regard to these requests, Mr. Huber has consistently declined assistance to these citizens who have paid taxes to the Alton Township for years. He has declined with the excuse that anyone receiving Social Security is ineligible for assistance. The Township Supervisor of Illinois General Assistance Handbook does not speak against regular Social Security retirement benefits. However, it does speak to SSI, which is classified as Federal Welfare Supplemental. To make matters worse, Illinois State Statute 305-6-2 states, and I quote, "The amount and nature of general assistance for the basic maintenance requirements shall be determined in accordance with local budget standards for local government units which do not receive state funds," end of quote. Alton Township funds are received from Alton County property taxes, and therefore the Alton Township Supervisor has autonomy to make these decisions. That is how the Alton Township Supervisor has been able to give money to Fireworks on the Mississippi, Alton Tennis Association, Alton Exposition Commission, and the annual Halloween Parade. I propose that the Alton Township Supervisor should evaluate, prioritize all general assistance community service programs in regard to community benefits needs which would prevent the appearance of selective favoritism. My red light is on. I'd ask you to consider voting for Fred Young.
Next speaker is Don Huber.
Thank you. I'll be brief because I know you all want to get to the main event here. It's been my privilege, and it's really been an honor for me to serve you all for the last 16 years. I appreciate your support up to now. I'd like to continue to do that. I think most of you know how involved I am in the community. In direct response to Mr. Young, I really don't have any choice about who receives general assistance. It's very specific, it's very structured, and there's a huge handbook that we have to follow that tells us who gets and who does not get general assistance from our office. As a matter of fact, if we don't do it right, we get sued, and it's happened on more than one occasion. Not to us, but it has happened in the state of Illinois. It's not something that we have any discretion about. If you're qualified to get general assistance, you receive general assistance. And I would challenge almost anyone to try to live on the minimal amount of money we're able to give these people. All other forms of welfare or governmental entitlements, such as SSI, Social Security, any other check, basically makes you ineligible for our assistance. So again, this isn't a discretionary thing. We don't choose who we give it to. The state basically tells us who does that. Again, I appreciate your confidence up to now. I'd like to continue to be your supervisor. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, with that, we'll go on to the mayoral candidates. Again, each candidate will have 5 minutes to speak, and then there'll be a question and answer period afterwards. So if we could have the mayoral candidates come on up. It'll be Chuck Phillips, Brent Walker, Pete Sasick, Michael Doc Holliday, and Tom Hakes. You're first.
Okay, group hug. Always trying to take the stage, aren't you? Hello, my name is Chuck Phillips, and I'm running for mayor in the city of Alton.
After previously coming in a very close second place for mayor in 2005 with our current mayor, I recently spoke with residents and business owners in order to obtain a consensus of the best potential view to guide the city of Alton. This is a complex problem that I believe needs to be addressed quickly. Currently, our taxes are rising and the value of our homes are depreciating. Unfortunately, the bubble has burst and additional work is required. This work must be swift and profitable for our residents and business owners for continuous growth. Moreover, this disparity will need to be closed to maximize the return of hard work that has been put into our homes, rental properties, and commercial businesses. Adapting to existing circumstances and changing bad habits will be essential. Influx of small amounts of money will facilitate and produce immense results if given the proper attention and guided in the appropriate manner. If I'm elected as the next mayor, I will not only be a public servant to our community, but I will serve the residents and businesses and not combat with our community. A public servant's position is to first and foremost serve the people who elect him. When I was previously a building inspector for the city between 1997 and 2001, the housing inspector was used to educate and cooperate with all entities involved. Their duty was to serve our community. After quitting the city, I became a construction superintendent, built the Pontoon Beach Municipal Building with 6 jail cells and with IDOC compliance, then the Roxana Pool House, and about 15 homes in Savannah Trace and Godfrey. Currently, I rehab and remodel homes in the metro area, and it's been tough lately, and now it's time to invest in ourselves and procure Alton's future. We must keep in mind, as a community, our young people are our future. As mayor, I would like to see the Public Works Department finish Olin Park. It's been long enough. Also, the Park and Recreation Department should begin a new program of local interleague basketball. Our basic skills program is good, but more game-like situations will sharpen skills and develop camaraderie and memories that will last a lifetime. My second goal as mayor is to work with the local businesses to construct an improved Alton program. I've been in contact with a local builder that's ready to invest in the city of Alton if he's able to have streets installed for his homes to be built. Additionally, I have an investor located in St. Louis willing to build a microbrewery and pizzeria in the city of Alton. We, as a community, need more business owners to formulate ideas and believe in this program. We have the best services in the entire Riverbend area, and we need to capitalize on our superior services to stabilize our local economy. A well-known name will employ our local residents, provide peace of mind, and utilize what we already have to move forward. Third, another group of investors that I've spoke with has placed an offer on the table to save money for the city in the way of a refuge burner to be placed on one of our unused manufacturing sites near the river. This burner is a green-rated burner with no noxious smell. As our landfill reaches a breaking point and the price of fuel and tipping fees escalating, the city would save as much as $500,000 per year with staying local. The burner will also return electric current to the grid. The city will be rewarded to all public services using electric. Fargo, North Dakota already has a refuge burner in use for the past 25 years, and we have a first-rate model to base the cost and updates to comply with the federal EPA guidelines for the burner. A 150 to 200 ton per day burner services 80,000 local people, which will have a significant impact on the entire area while employing 24 additional people or more on the city payroll. Startup costs will be matched by federal funds if the unit is considered a nonprofit entity set up by the city. This is the Go Green Burner project. In conclusion, these projects are only a beginning to cutting-edge beliefs that are needed to fill all of our vacant for-sale homes. These vacant homes and closing businesses are a result of ideological rigidity of the current administration with a total lack of fiscal responsibility. Thank you, and I would appreciate your vote to build a better future for the city of Alton.
Next speaker is Brant Walker.
Good evening, and thank you for coming out. My name is Brant Walker, and I'm running for mayor of Alton. And I am not a politician. I am a concerned homeowner, concerned business owner, investor in the city that, like many of you, are tired of watching politics as usual run our city into the ground. I chose to live in Alton in 1996. Since I've lived here, I have rehabbed and restored 5 properties. I own and manage Strategic Search Services, which is an employment placement agency that I founded in 1999. I graduated from the University of Missouri St. Louis in 1987 with a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration. I'm a member of the East End Improvement Association and a parishioner at St. Mary's Church. I bring over 22 years of successful business development to this race. And for the last 15 years, I have been putting people to work. This job as mayor of Alton will not be on the job training for me. Like I said, I have the business development experience, and I have also been putting people to work for over 15 years. One of the first things that the mayor is going to have to face in Alton is our budget. It appears that we have about a $3 million deficit right now, and we have a budget that is about as transparent as a brick. This current administration over the last 2 years has seen fit to budget in our budget over $15 million in contract work, NOS, not otherwise specified, or professional services, and we are a fully staffed city. My commitment as mayor of Alton to the employees of Alton will be to figure out where this contract work is going and try to bring our jobs and bring our money into St. Louis. I'd like to see our employees do more of our own work. I would also, as your mayor and a tax-paying citizen, I will post our budget on the city's website. We deserve to know where our money is being spent, how it's being spent, and who is getting that money. For too long, Alton has been falling behind neighboring communities because we've had a lack of business development, or proactive business development. Alton has the infrastructure and the zoning to thrive again, but we must not only look to large corporate businesses, we have to focus on small and medium-sized businesses as well. 72% of all new jobs come from small business. And I think as we come out of this recession, we're going to see a lot more jobs come from small business as people that are underemployed or unemployed will reach out and start businesses. I can guarantee you as your mayor, I will be not sitting in City Hall with my feet on the desk waiting for the phone to ring. I will take my 22 years of business development experience into the community, into our region, and throughout this country to aggressively promote our city. I would also seek to get the city involved in business incubators, business advisory boards, and business committees. These city working with business leaders in our community will lure entrepreneurs with good paying jobs to our city to revitalize our local economy. In order to lure business and residents to Alton, we have to make Alton more attractive. And I believe this begins with strict enforcement of our building codes. For too long, lax enforcement of our building codes have allowed our community to become filled with substandard buildings. We have far too many residents and far too many landlords that are not responsible to the civic-minded people in this community. I have restored 5 properties, and I take great pride in the properties I work on. To get this revitalization started, I would like to enact new policy, and it could be through an ordinance or it can be through business licenses. What I would like to see is any landlord that gets on the abatement of a nuisance list, that City Hall steps in and helps the police department and the city attorney by not allowing that landlord to obtain any more occupancy permits in any property they own throughout the city. I think if we can enact this, you will find our landlords to be they'll be much more responsible to our community if we enact this. Crime is a problem in our city, and the fact that the Alton Police Department is short-staffed right now on police, our first priority must be getting more police into the field. Secondly, City Hall and the Police Department have got to be more engaged with each other on abating nuisances. If we take a proactive approach instead of a reactive approach and prevent things before they happen, you will actually see crime go down. The third component to this is the community. City Hall, the community, the police department all have to be working together, and if we do that, you will see our city be a much tougher place for criminals to set up shop in our town. We must change the perception that Alton is not a great place to live, work, do business, and raise a family. This is a great city, but for far too long, failed political leadership and policy has run our city into decline. We can simply not afford another 4 years of politics as usual. By working together as a community and taking a proactive approach to leadership, we can revitalize our community. My name's Brent Walker. I need your support on April 7th. Thank you.
Next to speak is Pete Sessick.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Peter Sasick, and I'm a write-in candidate for mayor. I would like to thank everyone for coming, and I would also like to say hello to my parents and brother who are watching live in Houston, Texas, and everyone else tuned in via the internet. Like some in the audience, this may seem like deja vu, because 16 years ago, I was in the same room, same podium, same suit, same election date. I could even use my same brochure. It's like nothing has changed. Well, some things have changed. The mayor's salary has almost doubled. My son has grown and is now a St. Louis City fireman. My daughter was born, is 15, and is sophomore at Alton High. The city is farther from the top 300 in the United States as listed on my last flyer from 16 years ago, and I've lost my hair. I've been approached by people numerous times over the years, and especially after a filing date, asking me to run. I reviewed the candidates' qualifications and their respective platforms. One candidate is part of the good old boy system and should automatically be disqualified as he works for the DMV, the epitome of inefficiency. One candidate wants an incinerator that will take 10 years and said he will sit in his car across the street and watch the shows at the amphitheater. One candidate has been in town for 10 years or so, uses the term NOS a lot, and says he's rehabbed 5 houses. Well, when I was beginning high school, my dad bought the block I lived on. I've rehabbed houses even when I didn't want to. I've also found some NOS energy drink at Quick Trip. He uses that word a lot, and I would like to give him as a boost to catch up with me, as I ran for mayor twice as long ago as he's been in town. The other candidate wants equal hiring practices and wants to make a quarry a dump. Well, as a veteran, I would like equal hiring practices, and Alton already looks like a dump. This is why I filed as a write-in candidate. It's up to you, the citizens of Alton. The time is now. I don't want to spend a lot of time on myself, so in a nutshell, born at St. Joe's, Boy Scout, 4th generation St. Mary's, Ultra Boy, U.S. Navy vet, Surface Warfare Qual, Top Secret Clearance, Pentagon, Space Naval Warfare Systems Command, Worldwide Military Command and Control System, Aircraft Carrier, Captain All-Navy Soccer Team, College Graduate with Honors, Graduate Student, Adjunct Professor at Lewis and Clark, Published, Public Speaker, Loving Father, Computer and Placemat Pete, Licensed Coach, Business Owner, Godfrey Dog Whisperer, and the next mayor of Alton. I have the experience, the passion, and the plan. I have a long history of obtaining results in defense, government, educational, and private sectors. I've finished projects under budget, ahead of schedule, and consistently exceed expectations. I lead by example, take a proactive what-if approach to the task, utilizing every available resource. My platform contains innovative ideas, each dealing with specific problems Alton faces, whether it's crime, housing, jobs, industry, or fiscal constraint. My brochure's right side is checked. I've been there, done that. The left side is a list that everyone can follow along and check things off as they get done. For instance, eliminate wasteful spending and hire a grant writer. Lobby to allow smoking on the 3rd floor of the boat in Texas Hold'em games, because if we lose the boat, Alton is finished. That's an example of politics from the bottom up. I'd like to rehab inner city ball diamonds, and as the local dog whisperer, I will build a dog park. That's my low-cost, feet on the street program. I will not fill the quarry with trash, but research the feasibility of filling it with water, making it a premier deep water dive facility, and possibly community center. I will limit my campaign to expenditures to $2,000. If everyone donated the $20 to $25 my competitors are asking, I'll be walking up City Hall April 8th with $398,000 and dumping it on City Hall. I bet Elliot Davis would like to do a story on that. Okay? So far my campaign has spent around $700, the biggest expenses being the bottle of NOS and the cost of 200 signs arriving tomorrow. I also have volunteers in the audience and back. They're holding Uncle Sam hats. If you'd like to donate, we'll be more than happy. Alton is at a crossroads, and I'm here to assure that practical, progressive leadership results in proper short and long-term planning. Therefore, the right road will be taken and maintained to secure a vigorous and prosperous future for Alton and its citizens. I will serve at Alton as a public servant, period. I need you and you and you and you to tell your friends. You need to tell your neighbors, your church members, your internet viewers, and everyone else the time is now. Write in SASIC. Fill the dot, SASIC. That SASIC faction will be guaranteed. Thank you.
Next speaker is Michael Doc Holliday.
First, I give reverence to God, who is the head of my life. Honor to any pastors in the audience. I appreciate everyone involved in this informational forum putting this on. My name is Michael Holliday, Sr. I am a native of Alton, Illinois. I graduated Alton High School in 1961. I served the U.S. Navy from 1961 to 1965. I have been married to my wife, Priscilla, right here for 41.5 years. I have 2 children, Michael Jr. and Erica. I became a precinct committeeman in 1984. I have served on the Madison County Board for 9 years. My committees are Finance, Information System, Personnel, and I am chairman of the Madison County Health Department Committee. As acting county board chairman, I led the appointment to the first African American woman on the board. Fred Young and myself were officials that led the way for the new Alton Point creation. Some of my organizations that I belong to: American Legion, Post 354, the Upper Alton Business Association. I am a member of the State Board of Illinois Public Health Association, the National Association of County Officials, the National Association of Local Boards of Health. I am co-chairman of the Deacon Board of Good News Baptist Church. I am a past member of the American Cancer Society Board. I am a past president of the Olin Corporation Westerner Club. Some of my goals also are to prioritize city expenditures, building relationships with all city employees, developing a rapport with the firemen and the policemen, appoint an economic development committee for bringing in new business, develop a relationship with all units, reduce nepotism, to work collectively with community organizations. I believe as mayor you must have a relationship with political leaders. I have a connection with state leaders as well as national senators and congressmen. I have worked on campaigns such as Carol Mosley Brown. I was on Mayor Sanders' first 2 steering committees. Jim McPike, Jerry Costello, Steve Davis, Jesse White, Nick Giannoulias, Dick Durbin, Alan Dunstan, and President Barack Obama for his U.S. Senate and his presidential campaigns. I am the most experienced candidate for mayor, and your vote and confidence in me is very important. We must maximize the use of taxpayers' hard-earned money. We must encourage our fellow citizens to be proud of Alton and have each person do their share keeping Alton clean and beautiful, to become prideful in our city. I will work with unions to develop a working relationship to promote fairness and dealing with all the city employees. Working with rather than dictating to the policemen and firemen, we can become a safe and well-protected city. Each day that our first responding officers are serving us, they risk their lives, and we as citizens should show them respect and admiration for the job that they do. I believe the city leaders should work hand in hand with the school administrators to help our teachers and our students to be the best they can be. We must not forget our senior citizens who sacrificed and paved the way for those now reaping benefits from their labor. We as city leaders have to give hope to the hopeless. We have to help those that are trying to help themselves. We will have an open door policy to receive comments, pro and con, to further improve our city. We must be willing to help new businesses as well as establishments to locate and stay in our town to get and keep a good tax base. I will be a mayor you will always be proud of. When elected mayor, I will appoint a police chief that will be diligent in addressing all known criminal action wherever they may be. Last year I went to Washington, D.C. with other county board members and was able to have the community development block grant money restored to the city of Alton and Granite City. We were also able to go to the Pentagon and discuss our concerns about the area levies. 4 board members also went to Washington, D.C. last week. We met with Congressman Costello, Congressman Shimkus, Senator Durbin, and I met with Senator Burris. We expressed continuous concerns about the levees and their reconstruction, and about a consistency in the FEMA mapping for Illinois and Missouri. We talked about construction issues for the Wood River levee. I have been to meetings about the new bridge and highway to relocation, to find out how to have people in our area to become apprenticeships in the trade union so that we have people who are able to get jobs when that comes to be. On the stimulus package, some of the things I want to give you some information about is that we need to make sure that they require the jobs be created directly within the jurisdiction or community receiving and spending the allocation of stimulus funds. What is the state's plan to assist the cities and counties who are not entitlement communities to access stimulus funds? We need to identify a list of the county's shovel-ready projects. Shovel-ready requires a project to be bid, awarded, and ready to turn dirt within 120 days of state receipt of stimulus fund. We will oppose any waivers that will weaken the fair allocation of stimulus funds and other resources to socially and economically disadvantaged communities. In conclusion, it would be my pleasure to serve you as the next mayor. I would appreciate your vote. Thank you very much.
Next speaker is Tom Hakes.
Thank you. I would like to thank everybody in attendance tonight, and I'd like to thank all the sponsors of the forum. I have never assumed or taken for granted anyone's support in an election or after the election. It is something you have to work for as a candidate and you earn as once you're elected. As far as my priorities go, jobs is number one. I am committed to restoring Alton as an economic engine. Jobs will help us address other critical issues such as crime and cleaning up our city. Crime will have a zero tolerance approach. I will have a zero tolerance approach to crime under my leadership. First thing I will do is sit down with the police chief, and we're going to try to restructure the department to see if we can get more officers on the street. We will aggressively work to evict not only problem landlords but problem renters, and we will launch an anti-litter program. Third, we will attack crime at its core by going after minor offenses which can lead to a broader pattern of criminal conduct. Crime has to be taken off the front page if we're to grow as a city. One of the first statistics a person checks before relocating into a new community is the school system and the crime rate. The best property values in the world, we're not going to encourage newcomers to Alton if they do not feel safe on the streets. I believe my qualifications and experience make me the best candidate for the office of mayor. I have a proven track record of bringing change to local government with 6 years' experience on the aldermanic board and 6 years as a county board member. I led the charge at the county to eliminate wasteful and unnecessary spending while earmarking funds for specific projects instead of putting that money into the general fund. As a member of the Grants Committee, in the last 6 years, I brought over $15 million of money back to Alton from state and federal grants. Most importantly, I was involved in the economic development efforts such as reclaiming the city's contaminated industrial sites and the riverfront development. I was involved in attracting American Water Call Center and Imperial Manufacturing to Alton, which to date has produced over 500 new jobs. I was also involved in returning our community block grant funds to Alton, which total over $1 million per year. I will use my experience at creating jobs, balancing budget, and oppose wasteful spending to create a positive change leading Alton to a better future. Anybody can talk about change to government. I'm the guy that has done it. We're at a critical time with a weak economy and unemployment rising. Alton needs experienced leadership to bring change to our community. This is no time for somebody to do on-the-job training. I will lead the City Council and the city in a concentrated effort to increase business development and job growth for Alton. I believe the city government has a key role to play in local development efforts, and I accept those challenges and responsibility while I lead those efforts. Creating good-paying jobs is vital to a brighter future for our community and making us more competitive in the global economy. I firmly believe Alton can have a better future, and I have the leadership skills and a proven track record of bringing that change to make things happen. People today seem to wallow in cynicism, none more so than when they deal with the government. I believe I am the type of leader who can motivate others and define a vision for the future of Alton and make that vision become a reality. There are many citizens willing to tackle issues affecting our quality of life. There are also those who need a jump start. We must build the momentum, the pride, the respect for our community through leadership and financial responsibility. We must awaken the naysayer and make believers out of them, and tonight in front of me are the very people who I think we can start with. Some of my past affiliations in the city: I'm on the Community Counseling Honorary Board. I've been a member of Pride for over 10 years. I'm on the Red Cross Executive Committee, the YAWCA Advisory Board, the Urban League Guild, and the Coalition for Concerned Citizens. I've been a member of the Scenic Byway Commission since its inception. I'm a United States Navy veteran serving with the United States Marine Corps, 2nd Marine Division, 2nd Medical Battalion from 1962 to 1966. Member of the VFW and the East End Improvement Association. I'm looking for your vote and support on April 7th. Thank you very much.
Next, we have the questions. Thank you. Okay, we have 5 questions, and we will ask them, and the candidates will answer them in rotation basis. So the first question will go to Chuck Phillips first. And the question is, what do you believe to be the most pressing issue that you should address first if you are elected mayor of Alton?
One of the most pressing issues that we have is keeping everybody employed right now. I think nationwide we are in a big deficit situation. That's why the jobs that I'm trying to bring to the table, all the businesses that I'm trying to bring to the table is the answers. There is nobody else that's sitting up here tonight. They all talked about bringing jobs, but there's been no one person say anything specific. So we have to go with specific situations. And the budget also is second right behind that also. So if we come up with the jobs, we get the people to move back in here and increase our tax base by getting houses and people to fill our vacant homes, I don't think the city will have a problem at all. Thank you.
Grant Walker. If you want me to repeat the question, I'll be glad to.
What's the most pressing issue for Alton?
What do you believe to be the most pressing issue that you should address first if you are elected mayor of Alton?
There will be economic development. As I stated earlier, I have 22 years of business development experience, and I have the last 15 years of putting people to work. I have more experience in front of CFOs, CEOs, business owners, partners, and boards than the rest of the candidates up here combined. That's all I've done my entire career. So getting the city involved with business committees, business incubators, it works in other communities. It will work here. We just have got to do it. And as your mayor, I will make sure that the city partners with other business owners in this community to make this a much friendlier environment to do business.
Next answer is Pete Sasek.
I've already thought about that. I'm enrolled at the SIU Master of Public Administration and Policy Analysis program, first class budgeting. With pressing issue, we need to eliminate wasteful spending and use proper use of resources. There's a lot of these answers that I can read from my speech 16 years ago. This is one area. When I was in office, there won't be any decreasing tax dollars. My programs will make Alton the best place to live, work, and play. Therefore, the tax income will increase from the increased number of Alton residents, increase industrial-based tax income from new industry, increase in sales service-related taxes, resulting greater demands by visitors and consumer-confident citizens. This money, along with the Alton Bell revenue, keep in mind that's 16 years ago, and money saved from the elimination of consulting fees will be logically and rationally spent and saved as needed. A team-oriented management approach and effective utilization of resources will allow my administration to channel local business organizations and citizens' input to initiate and maintain short and long-term goals in Alton's best interest using less funds.
Next answer is Michael Doc Holliday.
To me, the most important thing is to bring businesses to town and pay a decent wage that will increase our tax base and give people a chance to earn a good living.
Tom Hayes.
Well, we're right back to where I started out with my top priority before. Jobs, jobs, jobs. Everybody states that they will create jobs, but here are 4 specific items I will start to work on the day after the election. I will meet with existing Alton businesses such as Alton Steel, Imperial Manufacturing, and make sure the city is doing everything possible to assist in their continued growth. Specifically, I'm going to call for the immediate construction of Morrison Avenue, which will directly connect Alton Steel to Carpal Belchick Memorial Parkway, which is Indiana Avenue. This will not only allow for steel mill traffic to move more efficiently, but open up the entire west side of the property for new industrial development. I will call for a joint meeting with the St. Louis RCGA, the Department of Economics and Education Opportunity, Madison County, the Riverbend Growth Association, and city staff to review and see how new business leads can be attracted to Alton. These are the various entities that usually have the first contact with companies, and it is important that Alton is given the exposure needed to compete internationally for jobs. From websites to actual presentations, we have to be perceived as being highly competitive and business friendly. Promote the completion of the widening of Fosterburg Road from Illinois 255 to 140. This project will lead to new growth in that general area and create both construction and permanent jobs for the future. I will work with the Growth Association and SCORE to develop the business incubator that they already promote that allows for startup businesses to grow and create new jobs for the people of Alton. The president of SCORE for the whole state of Illinois lives in Alton, and he's probably in this room tonight. There's nobody more helpful than SCORE when it comes to establishing small businesses, which are the backbone of the community. Thank you.
Second question, and Brent Walker will be the first to answer this question. Where do you see Alton in the next 4 years, and how do you plan on getting us there?
I see Alton with less substandard buildings, more business development, and less crime. As I stated earlier, I think the best way for business development is to actually partner with business, actually have a mayor that understands how to work with business and develop business. Secondly, we need to get more police officers on the street. We're a little bit understaffed there right now. And I also believe that through new policies, we can force our landlords and our residents to be more responsible to the citizens of this community. So it's going to come from a group effort. It's going to come from the citizens. It's going to come from City Hall. We all need to work together to make this happen.
Next to answer will be Pete Sasick.
I see Alton in the next 4 years a lot closer if I'm elected to the top 300 cities in the United States. I read from my speech 16 years ago. Nothing's changed. Alton needs to be packaged just like a product to get the attention of prospective industries. Alton needs to be an efficient, stable, and marketed product to attract the attention of possible job-creating industries. We have major rail, water, transportation systems at our doorstep. We just need to take advantage of the possibilities. My business-like attitude, along with the new labor management policies I will initiate, will lure business and industry to Alton because of our advantages and innovative programs. Combating crime is another thing. Inner-City Ball Diamond Project is a simple, low-cost, pride-instilling, crime-decreasing program. Making more geographical located teams like the old days, all youth would be able to participate and take ownership. These top-rate ball diamonds renovated by volunteers. Next thing you know, you got families walking down to see the Mini World Series. While walking down the street, these families will most likely be looking around, therefore a kind of mobile neighborhood watch program. Didn't cost a dime. 4 years, closer to the top 300.
Next, Michael Doc Holliday.
In 4 years, I can see Alton having less crime. One of the things I want to do is I will appoint a police chief that will be diligent about the crime here in Alton. I also will see less children out in the streets and have them given something to do. They need something in this city. We have nothing for our youth. Also, as far as coming into this town, you know, when you come off the bridge, it really looks bad. So I hope to have a nice looking Alton entrance when we come into Alton, so people can get a good view, first view of us, that we are a nice looking city. They may want to stay here. We have to increase our pride in what this city is. I mean, I love Alton, and I'm running because I want to make this a better place for everyone. And if we can partnership with each other, we can instill that in each other. We can make this a better place for all. So as we work together, we can all make this a better place in 4 years.
Tom Hicks.
4 years down the road, hopefully we see a much better economy. Without that, it's going to be a struggle, but we're going to get there. A lot of negative aspects tonight, but some of the positives that are going to form our future is some of the groundwork that's been laid by the previous administration over the last 10 or 12 years. Our riverfront's coming alive again, which relates to tourism. The examples of the riverfront are Argosy Gaming, paddle wheelers making routine stops up and down the Mississippi River. We have new marina management, which our rentals have gone up about 30% since that person took over. Amphitheater will come online this summer. We have transit boaters and public launching facilities. The river's free. It's there for our use, and we have taken great advantage of it. Landmarks works hard to ensure that no more of our past is destroyed, because a lot of Alton's future lays in its past. We can no longer destroy any more of our historic structures and our buildings, and we must revive all the brick streets possible. We have investors downtown Alton and in the riverfront and Front Street area who have built new lofts, new condominiums, and have filled those with no advertising. We have some people in the room here tonight who have stuck their neck out and made major investments in Alton, and they've all paid off. When I look at that, I see a bright future because we've got the commitment. I can tell by the amount of people here tonight that care about our city, and when people care, things get done. Thank you.
Last to answer the question is Chuck Phillips.
If I'm elected, I can implement my strategies. The people that I'm going to bring to the table are more than willing to invest in the city of Alton. Alton, as you very well know, it is a great place. I wouldn't be standing up here if I wasn't deeply heartfelt about how Alton is going right now. I don't want to lose any of the services. I hate to see the $15 per month that we have to pay for the trash. That's why I came up with the trash burner idea. My mother's on a fixed income. It starts taking into her money. Also, with the lofts, I know a gentleman over in St. Louis that started the Lucas Lofts. That's a $24.2 million job. He's a friend of mine. He's willing to invest also. I didn't want to say that until later, but I have to tell you now. Sorry. Next week, I'm going to meet with Mayor Slay with the Christian Businessmen's Association of Breakfast. And I'll be able to hopefully pull him aside and talk to him. What they're doing with the revitalization of St. Louis, I think we should model a lot of Alton to that. They're doing a great job over there, and I would really love to see us go in that direction in the next 4 years. I think if we do that, we won't be another stop with everybody coming off the bridge and going right to Grafton. I think they'll stop and spend a lot of their dollars right here in the city of Alton.
Third question, and Pete Sasek will be the first to answer this. It's a two-part question. Do you believe the fire department is staffed at the proper level, and should public ambulance service be reconsidered by the city?
We have a baseline that we have to deal with that we've been dealt with. As my son being a St. Louis firefighter, you got to take care of the firefighters. With the $398,000 that we'll have from $20 a piece, that's a great start towards the delinquent pension funds. Properly staffed, we have to deal with what we have, and then we can go from there. As far as the ambulance is concerned, I would like to, with decreased crime, I think the firefighters should be fighting more fires instead of making heroin addiction overdose, getting shot type calls. The firemen can do what they want, then that will eliminate, do what they need, then that will eliminate the increased need for ambulance services. Then we can regroup, see where we stand, and then take the appropriate measures at that time.
Next is Michael Doc Holliday.
Yes, I do believe the firemen are understaffed at this time. If we have two major fires, Alton will be in trouble. The setup that we have now for our fire trucks is just not efficient enough for two major fires. So yes, we are understaffed. And on the other issue about the ambulance service and whatnot, that's something that has to be looked at a later date when we find out where we are financially, to find out what we can afford to do with that. So that's something that needs to be looked at after we look at the total budget and see where we are with that. So some things you cannot make an assessment about until you get all the information. So on that, I would have to look at that farther. Thank you.
Next is Tom Hakes.
Boy, somebody's trying to stir the pot. Yes, I do believe we're staffed at adequate levels. The fire department has taken some hits lately. They've been reduced from, I'm not sure, 69 to maybe 60 or 59 firemen, I'm not sure. At any level of government, you have to work with the finances you have. There's only so much money to go around. We're sitting here and people are telling me that we're operating at a deficit, but they want to hire people. It doesn't work that way. You've got a $3 million deficit now, somebody said, and they want to hire more policemen. You can hire a policeman, you have about $100,000 a pop, your pensions go up. Sure, I'd like to hire 20 more policemen, that'd be great. Every city in the world would like to have more. I'd like to have more firemen, to be honest with you. I'd like to have more of everybody. The more of those we had, the more projects we could get done. But how do you pay for it? Anybody want to start volunteering to chip in for that? It all costs money. And your tax dollars, it all costs money. No, I think we have a very fine fire department, an adequate fire department. I think they've suffered and taken their hits. The ambulance issue was voted on. There's no information needs to be gathered. It was a resounding no. The people of Alton said they don't want it. It's a dead issue. Let's move on. Let's kiss and make up, and let's make Alton a better place to live.
Next answer is Chuck Phillips.
More businesses, more houses, expansion of our tax base. That's the only way we can afford any more firemen right now. We already had a fireman, I just by chance knocked on his door. He was laid off after 2 months. That was part of the fiscal responsibility that I was talking to you about earlier. We should have never hired the guy in the first place. I wish we would have had a spot for him. I hope that if through attrition that we can get his spot back. God bless all those firemen that run into burning buildings, take care of all of us. I've talked to a lot of people throughout the years. They say that Alton's firemen are the best in the entire area, because I do believe they are. God bless them. If we do expand our boundaries into the Fosterburg area, I would think that we might be able to have to get a substation out there at some point in time, but I think that's down the road a little ways right now. Coming to the ambulance service, I don't think we can afford that either. Right now, there's no way. I'm sorry, but we have fine services through the ambulance service right now in this area, and I think they're doing a great job also.
Last answer is Brant Walker.
Yes, it is my understanding that the fire department is understaffed, and I believe so is the police department as well. But a priority has to be our frontline defenders. We've got to be able to take care of our citizens in this community. And I believe mismanagement of this budget has gone on so long that we shouldn't be running a deficit with the way this community and this city has run its budget for such a long period of time. We shouldn't be talking about deficits. With the amount of money the boats brought in, the amount of money that this community has developed over the years, we shouldn't be hurting as badly as we are right now. I believe that if we manage our funds better, we look in that budget there is a lot of money put out there for NOS, which we need to find. I think we're going to find more money in that budget than we believe is out there. As far as the ambulance issue goes, I believe that is a dead issue, and it was voted on, and the people spoke about it the way it should be. But yes, I do believe the fire department is understaffed.
Fourth question, and first to answer will be Michael Holliday, is how will you manage abandoned and rental property for code enforcement?
You do that by getting experts with this. As I am doing different things in the area, what I try to do is surround myself with people who know more than I do. Because I realize that if I'm in a group and I'm the smartest person in that group, I'm in the wrong group. True. So what my plans are is to get knowledgeable people around me for the decisions that have to be made, and then we come together and make that decision as a knowledgeable person. Thank you.
Next to answer is Tom Hakes.
What was the question again, Steve?
How will you manage abandoned rental property for code enforcement?
Okay. Well, a lot of our code enforcement problems aren't necessarily abandoned properties, although they figure big into the equation. But derelict properties have been an ongoing problem for the city of Alton for many years. While some progress has been made, there's a lot to be done. I'm offering you the following facts. The city has been conducting occupancy inspections since the 1970s. We have a landlord licensing ordinance on the book since 1998. Ordinance number 6238 was passed on February the 11th of 98. Fred Young and I brought that ordinance in, matter of fact. Occupancy inspections have been productive, but do not go far enough to check all the needs to be inspected to assure quality properties. Only the bare basics are inspected in approximately 30 minutes' time. Licensing is not the answer. When done previously, all licensing did was add a layer of bureaucracy and waste valuable staff time processing forms instead of doing what is needed, thoroughly inspecting and citing derelict properties. Based upon this, I propose working with the new City Council on the following property inspection program. The city needs to make it policy to conduct whole house inspections on a systematic basis, say every 3 to 4 years, which will be supplemented by the current inspection process during the interim period. This will allow the city, and we have sent 3 of our building code enforcement people to school who are Illinois licensed housing inspectors. That means they can check foundations, they can check how many layers of roof are on your house. They are qualified and approved by the state. But we have 3 of these to look at these structures from top to bottom and shut down the properties that have been an insult to us for years. Thank you.
Next to answer is Chuck Phillips.
When I was a building inspector for 4 years, we had a list of all the properties, starting from the bottom. The worst ones, they started at the top of the list. We stayed after the owners. We brought them into court. We stayed after them all the time. Our code enforcers that we do have right now are overwhelmed because there is a lot of people that are walking away from their homes. They can't make their bills. That is a big problem. We need to try to work with them as much as possible to try to get these buildings either remedied, meaning out of the city, period. Tear them down, rebuild new. I would like to, if we have a historic house, I was on the Historic Commission with the city for 4 years and the Appearance Review Board for 4 years also. I would like, if we do have a house that people have walked away, I'd like to be able to go and assess the house, be able to put it up for open bid. Once it's put up for open bid, financing has to be in place. Either you're going to rehab it or we're going to tear the house down. And we have to be able to move forward, put it back, have a plan to put the house, a new house, back on that current lot. When you have a house that is at making $1,000 to $1,500 a year for a tax increment, we tear it down, it goes down to about 40. Our tax base is shrinking in that situation, and I think we got to work at that very, very diligently.
Brent Walker is next.
We need to more strictly enforce the building codes we currently have on the books. We need to check those houses from top to bottom. We are letting people get occupancy permits in buildings that should not be allowed to be occupied. They're almost uninhabitable for people to live in. I don't understand how these homes pass occupancy. We have to enforce our codes way more strictly. With regards to empty buildings, that is simply the perception of Alton is not a good place to live. It's not a good place to do business in. We have got to revitalize our community. We have got to change the perception of Alton. That comes from proactive leadership. For too long, this business as usual politics have run off people. They don't want to live here. And the perception of Alton is not good. We have got to work as a community to change that. So a combination of revitalizing our community, our business development, make Alton attractive for people to want to live here, you'll see those houses fill up again. As far as the derelict properties, let's start enforcing code on them a lot more tougher than we currently do. They will straighten up if we push them.
Now it's Pete Sassett.
Someone else must have deja vu, because here I go again from 16 years ago. First of all, I would review all current ordinances. I would update these ordinances, suggesting other cities prudent ordinances if necessary. Other cities make residents re-putty windows before sale, among other strict requirements. I would suggest that ordinance be amended to allow negotiations between the seller and buyer. I would do this and other ordinances to fit Alton's needs. Second, I would suggest ordinances of the rental properties. I would create a computer information system that will allow more efficiently control occupancy code enforcement information if this requires licensing. I would suggest a number of unit bases, differentiating between hobby and business. After 5 to 10 units, an individual would be required to apply for a license. The license would be a $5 and would allow, or so, this course is 16 years, $5, we'll say 10, and would allow the city, through sensible ordinances, to keep an orderly record of the status of its housing stock. Third, I would utilize all resources available. The township supervisor has the right, I think they still under state statute, to have public aid recipients provide community service in return for their subsistence. These individuals could landscape, plant flowers, and participate in other city beautification job retraining projects. I still have 30 seconds. For many years, the city streets and other infrastructure programs needs have been neglected for one reason or the other. To my understanding, it's usually federal. My program, along with citizen input, will make Alton a top contender for government infrastructure monies. I have already contacted, this is 15 years ago. I was going to do the public administration 16 years ago. This new model cooperation and planning from local government, educational institution, workers, and citizens will get the attention of state and federal government. This attention would help Alton become eligible for federal monies first, therefore becoming a model city for others to follow. With the new president in office offering possible infrastructure monies, we can make it happen.
Okay, fifth question. What would be the best use of gaming revenue? Tom Hakes, I think you're first.
There's been a lot of talk about our finances, and our finances are in pretty bad shape. But when you deal with finance, the first thing you must have is a well-defined roadmap to achieve success. You have to know where you're going. Passing a budget is only the first step. You must then manage that budget once you pass it. Controlling overtime, overruns. You have to have a plan for emergencies. What are your fixed costs? What is your discretionary spending? The next mayor is going to have to take a look at this line by line by line. 69% of every city in America last year exceeded their budget by at least 8%. When you start figuring the amount of hundreds of millions of dollars some larger city has, that you can just get an idea how far out of whack that gets. You have to be physically responsible. You must maintain a strong, productive, and efficient workforce. You have to maintain quality of life issues. We were talking about our fire department. That's what those people are for, public safety. Your police department, your public works department is there to furnish you a street that you can drive your car on, sidewalks, handicap ramps. You have to have a productive workforce and live within your means. The public would like their taxes reduced, but they would still want a full complement of services. it's kind of a tough balancing act. So you've got to give them the most bang for their buck, but we do have to get our budget in order. It's going to take a very strong person willing to make very tough decisions in the faltering economy with revenues decreasing. I have very aggressive goals for Alton's future and a commitment to overcome the negatives of the skeptics, restoring a sense of optimism and pride. There is no margin for error at this time. Thank you.
Next to answer is Chuck Phillips. The question is, what would be the best use of gaming revenue?
Gaining revenue, influx of small amounts of cash. We have to start somewhere. Everybody's making a mass exit from the city of Alton. That's why we have to start small. That's why I'm bringing all the businesses to the table that I have. In the last 4 years when I ran in 05, this is my duty to find people like that. I've brought them over here to Alton. I've showed them around all of our finer establishments, all the historic venues that we have. We've got a wonderful place here. I've been advertising. I'm a huge proponent in the city of Alton. To gain the revenue, we have to start small. To be able to, we got to walk before we can run. And right now with the steel mill and everything, with the economy the way it is, everybody's looking for that next dollar to try to prop up as best we can. And that's what I believe so we could do gain revenue.
Next answer is Brent Walker.
I would like to see the boat money go towards eliminating crime in our city. I think it plagues our crime. I would like to sit down with the police department and work out a way to best spend that money to eliminate crime from the city. I believe as we see crime go down, we will find our city much more attractive to homeowners and to businesses alike. So the key is going to be reducing crime and also working with the police department to get the drug dealers, the prostitutes, and the criminals out of our city. It's absolutely critical we start to eliminate crime in our city.
Pete Sasick is fourth.
Well, partially 16, but you got to keep it with the times. Eliminate wasteful spending and hire a grant writer whose main focus will be to obtain federal stimulus monies. Now from the 16 years ago. With the new president in office offering possible infrastructure monies, I feel the city with the short and long-term range plan will be the city that will get money. I also feel that people are the true infrastructure of any civilization. With a strong citizen foundation, anything can be built upon it.
And last, Michael Doc Holliday.
One thing we need to do is we need to scrutinize our expenditures, make sure that we are prioritizing and getting the most important things taken care of first. We also need to make sure we get new businesses into Alton to help with our tax base. As the new businesses come in, if we maintain where we are, that can take a burden actually off of our taxpayers that are here currently. And were you looking at my paper? Also, I believe that we should get a full-time grant writer to help in procuring grants for all. Thank you.
Gosh dang it. I'd do a chest bump, but he'd mess up my suit.
Okay, we have, last question is, it's a bonus question. And worth 10 points. Okay. The question is, what is your position on future use of Alvey Street Quarry? So, Chuck Phillips, your first.
Sure. Like I said before, the one thing that I do agree with Mayor Sandage right now is no expansion of Alvey Street Quarry. Thank you.
Brent?
No expansion of Alvey Street Quarry, no dump at Alvey Street Quarry.
Pete Sessich.
Well, I know there's no plant in the office for me, in the room for me tonight. Don't fill it with trash, but research the feasibility of filling it with water, making it a premier deep water dive facility and possibly a community center and pool. Okay? We could fill it up. It's 300 feet deep. When I was in the Navy, I was stationed in Washington, D.C. We got our training in the pool. We had to drive 2 hours to Pennsylvania to get open water dive qualified. When we got there, hundreds of people were there. Okay? Let's fill it up. We'll throw an airplane and the old metal pie-saw bird down there. We'll throw a couple Blue Pool train cars down there, and we'll call it the Blue Pool Dive Center.
Michael Holiday.
One thing I like to do, I like to find out what things are, what their business plans are, what it is that they will bring to the city. You know, I do not like to make a preconceived conception of anything until I can look into it and see if it's positive or negative for the city, for the community. So on this issue, I will be looking into what are the aspects that this brings. How does it affect the citizens of Alton? How does it affect our tax base? And then make a decision after I find out what it is that it brings.
And last, Tom Hakes.
I don't even have to go that far. No. And if we do fill it with water, I hope he doesn't use a garden hose.
That was a pretty easy question. Okay, that is it for the questions and answer periods. That is actually it for the forum. I'd like to thank all that attended. I'd like to thank all the candidates. I'd also like to, again, thank all the sponsors. Sam with the radio station, John with RiverBender.com, Zeke J. Bush was here. I don't see him now, but with North Alton Godfrey Business Council, and the Alton Telegraph. Thank you very much.